Hey everyone, today let's dive into one of the most significant geopolitical events of the 20th century. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. This event didn't just reshape the global order, it ended over 70 years of communist rule. So, how did one of the world's two superpowers unravel? Let's break it down. First, some background. The USSR was formed in 1922 after the Russian Revolution, and rose to become a global superpower after World War II, leading the Eastern Bloc during the Cold War. But by the 1980s, cracks were showing. The economy was stagnant, innovation lagged, and heavy military spending was draining resources. Political repression and ethnic tensions across its 15 republics didn't help either. Enter Mikhail Gorbachev in 1985. Gorbachev knew the USSR needed change, so he introduced two key policies, glasnost and perestroika. Glasnost, or openness, allowed greater freedom of speech and press, exposing corruption, past atrocities, and system failures. On the other hand, perestroika, or restructuring, aimed to introduce limited market reforms. However, instead of reviving the economy, it led to shortages, inflation, and public unrest. Now let's look at the key events that accelerated the collapse. First up, the Chernobyl disaster in 1986. This nuclear meltdown highlighted government incompetence and secrecy, eroding public trust. Next, in 1989, revolutions swept across the Eastern Bloc. Soviet control over Eastern Europe collapsed as countries like Poland, East Germany, and Czechoslovakia overthrew communist regimes, largely without Soviet intervention. In 1990, the Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, declared independence. Meanwhile, the economic breakdown continued with shortages of basic goods, massive inflation, and a growing loss of faith in the communist system. Then came the failed August coup in 1991. Hardline communists tried to overthrow Gorbachev but failed, thanks to public resistance and Boris Yeltsin's leadership in defending democratic reforms. The official end came on December 25, 1991. Gorbachev resigned as president and the Soviet Union dissolved into 15 independent republics, including Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and Kazakhstan. So what was the aftermath? For Russia, power shifted to Boris Yeltsin, the first president of the Russian Federation. The 1990s were marked by economic collapse, corruption, and chaos. For the world, the end of the Cold War meant a unipolar world order with the United States as the dominant superpower. Former Soviet states transitioned in different directions, some toward democracy, others toward authoritarianism. And that's how the mighty Soviet Union came to an end. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into history.